Yoga always gives me that that sense of I'm taking care of myself and I'm giving self-love and self-appreciation to
Mhm.
myself first. I just saw the need for kids, to use yoga as a practice and as a tool to kind of help them navigate too, right? They
Yeah.
need the same things, being able to, practice self-awareness and self-regulation and being able to calm themselves and find a safe space to just, to breathe, to relax and to move.
Vanakkam, Namaste, and hello everyone. Welcome to the 41st episode of Inside the Minds of Great Yogis. In today's episode, we have a very special guest, Camelia Felton, also known as Mimi. Camelia Felton started Mimi's Yoga Kids in 2018 after realizing the many benefits of doing yoga with her young grandson. She felt and knew that this was something that the kids and their families needed because yoga not only helps to improve minds and bodies, but also helps with mindfulness and meditation. Mimi's Yoga Kids now leads to change through the mission that it is to teach kids and their families yoga that speaks to them. To introduce 4 simple elements: mindfulness, inner peace, meditation, and imagination through yoga. She believes that we all need and deserve the gifts that yoga offers. Let's give a big round of applause to Mimi. Hi, Mimi. Welcome onto the show. How are you doing?
Hi, I am doing well. So happy to be here. Just super excited to have some time to just sit and chat with you. So I'm super excited.
I'm super excited to have you on, and we're very excited to hear your perspectives of yoga. So, without further ado, we'll get started. And the first question I'd like to come into is, how did your journey of yoga begin?
Okay, so this is something that I'm constantly, telling the world. So yoga started for me some time ago. I can say now over 10 years ago. And it
Yeah.
was just something, that I always just found myself doing, especially when I was going through a tough time in my life.
Mhm.
And so, I would get on and off the mat as life and seasons changed. But something really big happened in my life in
Mhm.
2014 going into 2015 that
Yeah.
really, really, really got me to a place where I really needed yoga like more and more in my life. So I started doing yoga, quite a bit. And
Yeah.
then yeah, I was caring for my grandson at the time and started to kind of do yoga with him. And then that's how I kind of snowballed into doing yoga with kids. So today, I do kids, I do seniors, I do all people,
Yeah.
if you will. So that's how it kind of started for me.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think that's lovely, and to, start yoga and share these experiences and practices with everyone is very important. So thank you for sharing that. And the next question I'd like to come into is, what inspired you to start Mimi's Kids Yoga, and what was the inspiration behind it?
So once again, it was my grandson that I was caring for, that I'm actually caring for today.
Yeah.
Um, the inspiration is him. He's 8 years old. That's my oldest grandchild, Elijah. And I just saw the need for kids, to
Mhm.
use yoga as a practice and as a tool to kind of help them navigate too, right? They
Yeah.
need the same things, being able to, practice self-awareness and self-regulation and being able to calm themselves and find a safe space to just, to breathe, to relax and to move. And so
Yeah.
he's definitely one of the big whys of why I started Mimi's Yoga Kids.
That's amazing. And a huge shout out to your grandson for being an inspiration for you to start Mimi's Yoga Kids. I think that's lovely. And I think yoga for kids especially is very vital. I think it can really bring massive changes, especially in their mood levels and the way that they're feeling. So thank you for sharing that and how you started Mimi's Kids Yoga. And the next question I'd like to come into is, how vital is yoga and mindfulness for kids in schools?
It's so vital. I cannot stress enough. And I think schools are starting to kind of tap into that.
Yeah.
Social emotional learning is just so big. It's a big part of the puzzle to create happy, whole children, right? They are
Yeah.
our future. So making sure they have the tools when they're feeling anxious or mad or happy or sad, how to regulate those emotions, right?
Yeah.
And everything they need is within. We have been conditioned to think that all of our resources are on the outside, that
Mm.
happiness, find it on the outside, joy on the outside. All of those things are on the outside. But I beg to differ. I firmly believe that those things come from the inside, being able to be joyful and happy. So it doesn't matter what's going on around you, it keeps you in a good space. Doesn't mean that things aren't going to come and knock you down or, kind of take you out of the element, if you will, but just being able to come back to yourself is a very powerful thing. And kids are like sponges. That's the most important time to, I think,
Yes.
those things, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And I definitely agree with the fact that you said kids are like sponges, like they can definitely absorb things very quickly, right? So, absolutely. And yoga for kids especially can improve their levels of focus and concentration, academic performance. There can be a significant change, right? And the way that they regulate classroom behavior as well. So, thank you for sharing that. And the next question I'd like to come into is, what are some of the changes that you noticed in the children after practicing yoga?
Just a sense of calm. They feel calmer. They
Yeah.
feel more in tune with themselves. They understand and realize that they can take control of their well-being. There's so many things that they can't control, but
Yeah.
they can control how they feel when they get anxious with just taking a moment to do five-finger breathing. Or, when they wake up and they feel, not quite right. You know how sometimes we can say get up on the wrong side of the bed,
Oh, yes. Yeah.
but being able to do like a yoga sequence that kind of gets them into that space of being able to tackle the day, or just finding a safe space, a little corner in their room, in the classroom, and just sitting with themselves and just taking a moment to just be grateful and do some mindfulness or some meditation, all of these things. And it doesn't cost anything. It doesn't
Oh,
cost
yeah.
them anything. It doesn't take them, anywhere but to a better place. So it's so precious that they have those tools, but it's our responsibility to teach them those things, right? They can't
Yeah.
they can't do it on their own. They need our instruction and our guidance and our support. So that's what I'm here to do.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And I think guidance and just being there for them is very important. And showing them how this is done is also very vital, right? And I think with some of the children, like anger management is also a big part. Like yoga can definitely help manage their anger levels. And also with the moods, as you have mentioned previously. So definitely thank you for sharing that and for the incredible work that you're doing with your platform. And now I have some rapid fire questions for you. And the first question I'd like to come into is, what is something that makes you feel complete during your yoga practice or after your yoga practice?
Oh, wow. Just that I did something for myself.
Mm,
I wear
okay.
a lot of hats, I do a lot of things, but yoga always gives me that sense of I'm taking care of myself and I'm giving self-love and self-appreciation to
Mhm.
myself first. And so
Yes.
I kind of feel that if I keep my cup full with which is, doing yoga, mindfulness, making sure I'm eating well, all of those things, then I feel like I am better able to do what I've been called to do, going out into the world and just, sharing all the wonderful practices and gifts of yoga. So it just gives me that sense of I'm taking care of myself. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I can definitely tell the difference when I don't do it.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that. And I definitely agree with you when you mentioned like the difference before like you're practicing yoga and then after you can definitely see a difference, right? So yeah, thank you for sharing that. And the next question I'd like to come into is, who's your inspiration in terms of yoga?
Oh, wow. There's several, that inspire me and that lift me up, and I don't want to forget anybody. Um, but one person that really, stands out for me is Lauren. Her name is Lauren from Yogi Beans. I just really look to her because she's been in this kids yoga arena for some time now, and I just remember once I connected with her, she's just always been a source of support. I can reach out to her whenever, I
Mhm.
have a question or, just to piggyback things off of her. And if she doesn't know, she'll find out or she'll give me some other options or resources. And so I just really look up to her, as a mentor and definitely as a friend. She definitely
Yeah.
inspires me to be the best version of myself. So yes, I really thank Lauren. There's some other yoga teachers that are doing the same thing. Michelle from Yoga Mazia, she's an amazing friend of mine. Kay from Just Be Yoga, Margot
Mhm.
from Calm Cookie Yoga. And, I could just go on and on and on. Larissa from the lovely Little Lotus, just amazing women that really inspire me and that I know have my back. So any opportunity that I get, I like to say thank you to them because I truly love and appreciate them. And there's others too, but for the sake of time, those are my top girls.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, and a huge shout out to all the names you mentioned there. I think it's so important to have an inspiration as well as with yoga, you can also form a community, right? And beautiful friendships that comes out of it. So I think it's definitely special. So thank you for sharing that. And the final question I'd like to come into is moving forward, what is a long-term endeavor that you hope to achieve through yoga?
Oh, wow. Just creating spaces for others to come in and teach yoga, right?
Yeah.
I can't do this work by myself. I cannot, so looking into the future, just being able to teach and facilitate spaces once again for other people to do the same things. And I'm in school now to be a yoga therapist, so broadening, that going into cancer centers, hospitals, just anywhere that yoga is needed. So looking forward to that and just continuing to just do this work, to do this work. It's a passion,
Yeah.
it's a purpose, and it's a mission. And so I wake up every day with with excitement. It doesn't feel
Mhm.
like work,
Yeah.
because I'm doing what brings me joy, what brings me joy. And so as long as I'm able to do that, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Mimi. And I definitely agree with the fact that you mentioned doing your passion, doing something that you love can definitely give you that enthusiasm every day to continue doing that, right? Like seeing smiles on all the children's faces and like everyone in general, I think it can definitely bring a huge change. So thank you for joining me on the podcast. And that is the end of our question. So thank you for joining us. It has been a pleasure to have you on the 41st episode of Inside the Minds of Great Yogis. Um, and I'd also like to thank everyone who's yet to listen to the 41st episode of Inside the Minds of Great Yogis. And until next time, I hope everyone has a great day. And thank you so much for joining us, Mimi. It was lovely hearing your journey of yoga.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us.